So welcome, Bishop County, to this conversation about the current situation with La Soufriere volcano in the country of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Diocese of Kingstown, St. Vincent. As we speak, your brother bishops throughout the Caribbean, throughout the Antilles, have certainly sent messages of solidarity and prayers to you. So we're just going to have a conversation with the Antilles Episcopal Office here about the situation and how the church is responding. So Bishop, as we speak now, what's the situation on the ground? Can you give us a kind of a pictorial impression of what is the current situation on the ground, both in the north where the La Soufriere is located and also in the remaining parts of the island?
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me to this interview. And well, the situation in the north, in the red zone where the volcano actually is, it's really a picture of destruction, should I say. I think you all have been seeing those pictures out there. And I think everybody has been evacuated. There might be one or two persons, but I've been looking at even the town nearest to the other zone, the amount of ashes and the cleaning up, and it's just like a ghost town because they're not there. But about 2 days ago, I saw some pictures with really rubble, and I think the rivers, there was rain, and so the rivers had overflowed its banks and so on. And even with the pyroclastic material coming down into the larger dry river, it was really, really a difficult sight, very graphic, to see all the different material and the heat coming out of it. And I've been wondering, after this, how would that area be, what it would like be? A lot of houses have been destroyed. As you know, our church in that area, the roof caved in. We have a bakery there that caved in, and a lot of houses. And buildings have been destroyed under the weight of the ashes on the roof. So it looks grim in that area. Right. The rest of the country, I think we're in calm and adjusting to this situation. It's 6 days now. We have grown accustomed to it in a sense that at the beginning it was really something new to see all these ash in the air. It was very, very, created a deeper impression. But we're living with it and making the adjustments. And our concern, I think everybody's concerned about the people who are in the shelter and trying to provide them with the necessary help. We are all in that at this moment. But there's a calm in the country, and I think little by little, things are getting back to normal because we hadn't had normal water flow. It was rationed. Many stores in town have not been open. Banks are working up to 12 o'clock. But I think as we go back to some normality in terms of establishment of water and so on, the activities will pick up.
Thanks, Bishop, for painting that picture for the people of the Antilles of what's happening both in the north and in the remaining parts of the island. Because I think many of us have forgotten what a volcanic eruption, the impact of a volcanic eruption looks like. I think the last volcano to be erupted in the Caribbean would have been Montserrat, which would be maybe about 2 or so decades ago. So,
yeah, I think in the early 90s, I think.
Yes, right.
Right. Yes.
Thanks for painting that picture. And with the eruption, how are the people in general coping with the crisis? I mean, you're talking about double crisis. You're talking about the COVID pandemic crisis, yes. Now the eruption of the volcano. How are the people coping psychologically, emotionally with the crisis?
Yes, I was thinking it's just 6 days and we are making the adjustments. I think according to the seismologists, this eruption is taking a pattern of the 1902 eruption, and that was longer. So I think there's a long haul here, and because it's still just new to us and we are adjusting, but I think the test will come down the road. There's a lot of solidarity. I was thinking, we were talking today, there's calm in the country, there's no panic.
Okay, great.
But I like the solidarity and helping out and so on. And I think as the months go on or the weeks go on and we see what's happening, then I think, you know, things will change. The reality will hit us even more. And so very interestingly, this morning we had the Christian Council meeting, and Sister Julie Peters, who is in Rome, has contacted us because she knows of the trauma, and there's trauma attached to it already. There are certain things already. So we are looking like that to see how they can in the region offer them service in their services in terms of psychological help and to adjust to this trauma and this change. So we know initially things seem calm, but you know, as time goes on and this prolongs, yes, there'll be that need. And so we've begun talking to that about that. I must admit also, I think I was told recently when Sister Julie contacted me, I contacted a point person, see who can take on this. And I contacted Sister Jacinta Wallace. She said yes, and she said she will direct them to the Ministry of Education, because I think the Ministry of Education has responsibility for psychological care because most of the centers are in schools. And so she said she will work through them to you know, this part of the trauma and the effects that it has on people. So we're looking like that. And yes, we know that is coming up. There might be cases, you know, I haven't heard of, but yes, but for all purposes, I sense a certain amount of calm at this time.
I'm really so happy that you are collaborating with Sister Julie Peters to address the psychological needs of the people. I know Sister Julie Peters always say that one of the things we tend to ignore in the Caribbean is the trauma that occurs after a natural disaster. You know, yes. The tendency is to take care of the material needs, but oftentimes not the emotional.
Yes.
We're happy that the diocese is collaborating with her. Bishop, give us an idea of the parish, the Catholic parish in the north that is affected by the eruptions. Many persons, you know, do not know exactly how many parishes are affected. So can you just give us an idea of the parish that is affected and the extent of the disaster?
Right. In terms of our parish, the Catholic parish is the parish of St. Benedict's, which is in Georgetown, but they have a mission in Sandy Bay called Our Lady Queen of the Star. And that is right, I would say, below the volcano, in front of the volcano. And so that is why the impact of the ashes has destroyed. It is in the what we call the indigenous area of the country. And so we have in centers not too far, shelters here, some of our parishioners, and we are attending to them. But that church, that roof has just caved in. And so going forward, whenever that is, of course, we recognize already, we have to attend to that. I must admit because Archbishop Rivas was here and he knows of the situation and saw the pictures, he has already committed that, you know, St. Lucia will try to help in the restoration of that particular chapel. And he has already announced another initiative. You know, we have a pension scheme that came along, and he says whatever he has in it, he will contribute towards the relief effort, the fund that we are establishing to take care of things down the road.
Great.
But yes, that parish is greatly affected, and their people. So they're not there, they're in shelters, and we are finding them and attending to them.
Great, great. Well, wonderful. You know, Bishop, despite the disaster, the natural disaster that is occurring as we speak, I am sure that you may have heard yourself, or persons may have told you about testimonies of faith and resilience among the people. You spoke earlier about the solidarity that you've seen among the people, I suppose, in helping each other. Is there any faith testimony or testimonies of resilience that you heard about that you want to share with the rest of the Caribbean and the world?
Interestingly, before the volcano had erupted in our Christian Council meeting, I think the last one last month, we recognized that our churches and schools would be used also as shelters. And we had decided then that we will take care of them pastorally. And this morning at our meeting that came up, our president, the Methodist pastor, was visiting, and he said, you know, at one of the shelters, one of the managers called him in. She just needed to break down, you know, the whole trauma of the thing and organizing, and you know, that reiterated the importance of the pastoral presence, and even among ourselves, where they are located and using our structure. I know the priests and deacons, whoever, they are tending to them pastorally. You know, I can't say I'm sure. I haven't heard as yet, and I was trying to inquire about the testimony of faith. But what is, you know, what is very, very strong, and I see this part of the faith, how we are coming together to help and to assist. People have opened their homes to other people. People who have houses or they're living abroad has given permission to people to use their buildings. And so for me, that in itself is a testimony of faith, that's solidarity. And it's felt, it's, you know, and within the country, and I must admit, outside, within the Caribbean region, from my AEC, brother bishops, the agencies that we are working along, it's a tremendous support. But yes, I'm seeing that here within the country of we are coming together to handle this situation, all and sundry. And for me, that in itself is a testimony of faith, because we are a Christian society. We are a Christian society. All the churches and, you know, in that area has been affected, our Anglican brothers, Methodist brothers, and all the other churches. And we are really coming together to work together and help.
Right.
But the solidarity is very strong, you know.
Excellent, excellent. Do you know, the people of the Caribbean and the churches of the Antilles Episcopal Conferences, including the dioceses, have always been generous in helping out each other in times of natural disasters. You know, we saw the very same testimony of faith and resilience that you talk about. We saw it after Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas and Hurricane Maria in Dominica. So the generosity is always there. And so in light of that, may I ask you, what are the immediate needs? What are your immediate needs and the needs of the people at this moment?
Okay, well, especially for those who are in shelters, you know, we're looking for, and I did send out a list to the Archdiocese of Portland because Archbishop Gordon asked me. But, you know, the normal needs of what you need for these facilities, like non-perishable items, sanitary items, all these things, you know, that you need to get that shelter going. You have to feed people 3 times a day, and you have the needs of getting mattresses and even bed linen and all these different things. I probably might send you a list that you can post on your website, so that people can know foodstuffs and all these things to keep it going immediately. I have just tried, I think we're successful today to open an account eventually. I wanted to open an account because we recognize what is happening, that will be needed down the road in reconstruction also. And also, you know, there are still supplies here. The business people have supplies and so on. So if people wish to donate, we could also purchase things here, which might be, for some, might be a lot easier than shipping. So the normal needs that you need in a time like this, foodstuffs and even things for babies, Pampers, and even for adult people and so on, because you have to attend to them.
Right, right. So certainly
water, you know, water is really, you know, and I think the response has been tremendous in that area. Even water, we need drinking water. We need also. So we don't forget on all the toiletries and paper towels and the whole works.
Right. And this has to be ongoing, isn't it so, Bishop? Because we don't know when the volcanic eruption will stop, eh?
Yes, I remember a conversation, you know, I have an Irish missionary here saying normally these disasters at the beginning, there is so much response, but as it goes off, and it is news at this time, but then after it's not news, and things, you know, we are forgotten. So yes, we hope that doesn't happen, and we are trying whatever we have to rationalize and use it properly. We are very pleased with the response. I see that it's coming out. And so, because I think we are in it for the long haul, yes, we hope that there'll be a continuous interest and support for us.
Well, you can also always rely on the office here at the Antilles Episcopal Conference to ensure that we keep what's happening in the forefront.
Yes, yes, we'll do that. I'll keep that. I'll do that also, and that's why I readily well, whoever calls for interview, I am saying yes because of the need to get the message out there. So I thank you for this opportunity also.
Great.
Also, people can check our webpage, our website also, the diocesan website.
Great, and we'll be most willing to publish the list of items that.
Yes, I'll send that to you also.
Wonderful. Yeah. And you know, I know that at this particular time, the diocese is collaborating with agencies such as Caritas and Food for the Poor. Can you explain to our listeners, people who are tuning into this live stream, as to on a tangible basis, how is the diocese organizing itself with these agencies for distribution? Okay. Because as you know, in many of these situations of disaster, sometimes a lot of wastage takes place. You have the human factor of theft or greed and that kind of a thing. And so those would like to be reassured that there is a system on the ground to ensure that those who really need it gets it. Yes,
we are very conscious of that. Interestingly, my community, that the priests in that area that had to be evacuated, the Redemptionist Fathers, Father Kevin Murray and Brother Gerard, they are here with me. Now, since his arrival, we had spoken about forming a Caritas because he was in St. Lucia and the regional office is there and he knows the person. And we began the discussions. Just last week, Wednesday, we had our first meeting, Caritas meeting, and forming the group. And then things exploded on Friday. So we have a committee. He's responsible for the relief and organizing, and we've really been working. On Saturday morning, I had a meeting with the Food for the Poor people, and we are on the ball with Marcia, who is the regional coordinator of Caritas, and she has been very helpful. And so we are organizing, and I'm taking a personal interest in that. And we are receiving information. As I said, today we got, and yesterday we got some things, and today, but we are very conscious of organizing things well and make sure there is not any pilferage or bad handling of what is given to us. We are talking about accountability. That is very much important for us, the things we receive, and also when people give us donations. We spoke about that so that things will be transparent and done well. And so we have that committee and they're working very hard. I must admit, Father Kevin Murray has taken the baton, he's running with it. And I don't know if the word is excited, but he's very animated about that with his group. And we are going to be expanding that group and having a meeting on Saturday to make sure the reception and distribution of what we receive. And we are conscious, we know that the shelters are getting a lot of help. So we go in, there are people at homes, and we are going to them, and we have asked through our parish network, whatever situations they know of, please let us know so that we can attend to those who are really in need of the things. We are very attentive to that. Great. And putting in a lot of work in organizing.
Great, wonderful. Thanks for that reassurance. As Bishop, as we bring to closure this conversation about what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, particularly the St. Vincent, is there any final word that you'd like to say to the people who have tuned into this live stream, this Facebook live stream? Any final word, any final message?
Yes, I think I'll repeat what I said. No, the solidarity has been tremendous. I want to also thank my brother bishops. They contacted me immediately. I was getting calls and expressing their solidarity, and they were responding. All the bishops, they were contacting, and the people generally from the region. And I guess we call them from Trinidad. I must admit, the Archdiocese of Port of Spain and the people of Trinidad who knows me, they are in constant contact. You know, I spend a lot of time on my WhatsApp responding, and because of that care and concern of love, and even as it has gone international to other people outside of the region. But that really, you don't feel alone. It's very, you know, there's something about that. You know, an eruption of a volcano is new to me at this stage in my life.
Right.
And so to have that support of that care and support and prayerful support also has gone a long way and has helped and give you strength to do what you have to do. So I want to thank you all out there for all that, and we'll keep you all updated what is happening, and just please don't forget us one and done. But I am pleased, and not only, I just don't want to single out, you know, the Archdiocese of Port of Spain, but I think probably because people know me from there and I'm Trinidadian also, that, you know, they're coming on board. But my other brother bishops have been in contact with me also, and really, really helping me out. So thank you very much for that support, and keep up the prayers for us.
Certainly.
And we'll see it through. I say to my people here, God is with us. It's interesting this happened in the time of Easter. My message to the people was about that. And so we trust in the risen Christ that he will see us through this and everything will be okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop, for this conversation.
Thank you, a pleasure. Thank you.
You have reinforced what is happening in the church in the Antilles, how the church in the Antilles is truly living what Pope Francis has been inviting us to do, and especially in Fratelli Tutti, you know,
yes,
fraternity, that human community. And we continue to pray for courage, and God bless you as you continue serving your people as pastor during this very difficult and challenging time.
Thank you very much. God bless you all, and bless you. Keep up the good work.
Very good.
Right.